Am I the a-hole stories? Am I the a-hole for not giving my sister my credit or money? Some important background. In my opinion, my older sister and I have had a non-existent relationship since our mom died in December of 2019. At the time of my mom's death, my family found out that my sister had convinced my mom to drain my parents' savings accounts, and my dad only had $611 to his name. My sister has 3 children, and was going through a horrible divorce and couldn't get the courts to make her ex pay child support, so I understand she was desperate, but my parents are retired people who were living off savings. Since then, so 1 year and 3 months, she has said less than 100 words to me, all via text. After our mom died, it took me a couple of months to stop being angry with her for what she did, but I tried calling every week or so through 2020 and sent a lot of text messages, all of which went unanswered. No thank yous for birthday and holiday gifts to her or her children. When I had a brush with cancer last year, she didn't even bother to call me or text me after I had surgery. I didn't even know her divorce was final, or that she got a live-in boyfriend. I had to find out from other people. About 6 weeks ago, she texted me to ask if I would co-sign a lease for her since she and her boyfriend were moving. I offered to help her negotiate her lease terms instead. She never did accept. Some friends in common reached out to try to guilt me into helping her. One even accused me of being selfish for refusing on the basis that I am single and trying to buy a house. All was silent until last week when she texted me to ask me for money because her moving expenses were more than she anticipated. This happened less than 24 hours after I announced to our family that I did, in fact, get the job and am moving to the East Coast. She didn't even congratulate me on my new job. I never responded to her request for money, and yet again, heard from some friends in common that I am a bad person for not helping my sister financially. Generally, I don't have a problem helping my friends and family. If my best friend needed me, I would go anywhere, spend any amount of money, move mountains, or lasso the moon. I'd do the same for my brother, father, or my other sister. But we have real relationships that they put effort into. Am I the a-hole for not helping her? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. Sounds like she reaches out when she needs money. That seems to be the only value you have to her. Recommend you dump the friends in common as they are no friends of yours. I think she should tell the friends that are reaching out to her, that they have more of a relationship with her sister, so they should help out financially. I'm sure they would soon change their tune. 100% do not help her. She's a leech and will suck you dry. She only talks to you when she wants something. Protect your creditor report in case she tries to use your social security number to get a credit card or lease. This is a situation that warrants no contact. Best wishes on your new job. Not the a-hole. She only uses people and doesn't care about you, or your parents. Let her go. I would add to cut off any friends that side with her, as they are not your friends. Obviously not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. She is not entitled to anything from you. You have no relationship, so at this point she's basically asking a stranger for money. Don't give her a dime. Tell your so-called friends to loan her their money or credit if they're that pressed. Not the a-hole. People who are criticizing you are idiots. If they feel so strongly about this, tell them to co-sign. Cut them off and move on with your life. Enjoy the East Coast. It's the best coast. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for refusing to hire my sister, 26 female, as my, 34 female, realtor? I am a real estate flipper. Early on in my career I met up with Tina, a realtor of 25 plus years who showed me a home that I ended up not buying. We weirdly hit it off as a sort of mom/daughter vibe. She's about 30 years older than me and I'm the same age as her daughter, and became sort of a mentor/mentee situation. Tina took me under her wing, taught me half of everything I know, found me deals, found me people to buy my fixed-up places, and basically taught me the ropes. She handles situations I'm still learning to handle, like when a foreclosure auction goes wrong. I'm definitely just starting to learn. Tina is very experienced. The problem: my younger sister Penny, 26 female, is about to get her real estate license. We were having dinner with our dad, and Dad says to me how great it's going to be when Penny and I are working together. I gave him a confused look. Penny then piped up that once she got her license, she'd be handling all of my flips purchases and sales, because she is family. I told her that if I was looking for my own house, sure I would go with her. For my flips, I work with Tina exclusively, because Tina had connections that I did not, such as discount flooring and other such things, and Tina got me a lot of business and sales. Cutting Tina out would basically remove at least 1/3 of my sales, and kill my discounts in a lot of places as friend of Tina, and I'm not willing to do that, especially in these kinds of times. Also, Tina will stop giving me real estate tips for good flip properties if she is not my realtor. Imagine how rude it would be to get a tip from her, and then use my sister to buy the property. My sister and dad are now upset with me, and no amount of explaining can make them understand that this is a business decision, and I simply can't afford to burn this bridge. I told Tina what was going on and Tina so very graciously offered to help mentor Penny like she has been with me, but Penny was having none of it. Penny is so offended that I would continue to give my business to someone outside the family. I think I've done more than enough to help my sister here, but my father and sister think I am an a-hole. I feel like I might be the a-hole because you are supposed to prioritize family, but then again, I feel like it's unreasonable for me to take a huge pay cut and loss of all my resources just so my sister can get sales, which again will be fewer due to Tina's clients not buying them. So, am I the a-hole for not hiring my sister to replace Tina? Now for the top advice before reading the little update. Not the a-hole, huge gold star to Tina. You told her that your sis wanted you to cut her out. Instead of getting upset herself, she offered to help your sis. This was a business decision and sounds like a good decision. Exactly. Both of their attitudes are exactly why her decision is the smart decision. Experienced, friendly, well-connected and unbiased, versus inexperienced, entitled, emotional nepotism. If sister wants the business, to quote the gaming community, get good. Not the a-hole. It sounds like your sister was planning to make you her cash cow. You do a lot of flipping, and can possibly make her a lot of money. She doesn't seem to care how your business relationships work out as long as she gets a cut of that money. OP's flips/profits drop at least 1/3 so that her sister can make 7% on sales. Maybe ask these Einsteins who is going to make up the difference. Not the a-hole, never do business with family. Not the a-hole. This is a business decision and I simply can't afford to burn this bridge. This is all that needs to be said. If your sister is able to build her business to the level of Tina, or just to a level competitive with Tina, that's a different story. But, when it comes to business, you have to do what is right for your business. Your sister is being a little petty for not working with Tina, who could also offer her a whole lot of knowledge. I don't understand why she would refuse that offer. Update, plot twist. Working with me was not Penny's idea. Our father told her of course I would hire her when she was out of school, we're family. Penny is a little bit naive, and a little bit airheaded is the nicest word I can come up with here. I'm sorry, I love my sister, I promise. It is 1000% plausible to me that she simply just believed my father without coming to me about it. Penny then felt like I reneged on the deal to employ her when she brought it up so casually when we had dinner, as in her mind it was settled and done. She apologized and we are both annoyed at our father, who caused this communication mess. I plan to talk to him when I'm less salty about it. Penny has said she is sorry for turning down the mentorship idea. I hadn't told Tina because I was hoping Penny would reconsider Tina's offer, and that she only said no because she was angry with me in the moment for breaking my word, but realized I'd never given it in the first place and it was all our father. I'm going to cautiously link Penny and Tina up, but I'm giving Tina a warning about Penny's potential behavior, and a complete okay to cut things off if my sister behaves unacceptably. To the person that asked me if my father had funded my business, no, but my late mother did. She left me and my sister a significant, 25% each, part of her assets, which was in the mid-six figures for us both. My dad got the rest but he has plenty of his own already. He used to love helping us out before Mom passed, but stopped entirely when we received the inheritance from Mom because he said we didn't need any more help. Which, fair enough. I've done well with my business. Penny has been smart with her share and invests in the stock market, our dad has taught her. To everyone calling me an evil flipper, I specialize in foreclosures and homes nobody wants. Homes that can't even get renters. Homes you can't even get financing for because they're so bad. I fix them up and make them habitable homes again when previously they are not fit for human living. If that's evil, then okay. I've evilly expanded the amount of available housing. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for moving out in the middle of one of my parents' big projects and not helping them? So ever since I was a kid, I've pretty much been doing hard labor for my parents. Anything from painting the whole house, to demolishing and remodeling the whole kitchen or something. This is on top of my normal obligation to keeping the house clean. The whole time, My mom has barked down my throat about how much of a screw-up I am, if I request even a day off due to illness of something. She especially held that obligation over my head by saying that I should be thankful they're having me do that and not making me pay rent. And I mean they're right, since I was dealing with some serious mental health issues that for a time prevented me from finding work, so I couldn't even pay for the rent anyway if I wanted to, and I'd need a miracle if I tried making it on my own back then. Well, the day has finally come. Over a long time, I've been able to save up enough to move out, but almost until this point I hadn't told her. I didn't intend to hold off on it, I was just having a hard time finding her in a good mood. Mom hadn't come up with a project since before Christmas, so outside of my usual chores, it's been pretty easy going. Then about a week before the move date, she started talking about remodeling her closet, which has turned into a hoarder's nest. It's one of the few places that I amazingly hadn't touched up until this point. Yesterday, as she was giving me jobs, I decided to come out and say it. I was actually planning on moving out pretty soon and I didn't think I'd be able to help her on this. This obviously caught her by surprise and she flipped out. She started screaming at me that I was inconsiderate and that I did this just to get out of helping her. To pull the rug from under her just to spite her. I tried telling her that it wasn't my intention, but she was in a fit of rage at this point. I went to my room to get out of that noise and kept hearing her yell from downstairs that she wanted me out of her hair. I was already packing up and I didn't have much on me to worry about, so I decided that maybe now was as good a day as any. I texted my friend to ask if I could couch surf until my move-in date, and she said yes. I leave, and that night Mom sent me a huge string of texts that I ignore. Then this morning I get a Venmo request for $2,500 from Mom. I call and ask her what's going on, and she said that if I don't want to help her do the project, then I have to pay rent on the months I spent sitting on my butt. I try telling her that that doesn't make sense and I never agreed to that, but she was adamant and started telling me how she and Dad are aging and can't make it on their own, which is why she needs my money. I hung up, but it's been a few hours and I can't stop ruminating on it. Was what I did wrong? Am I the a-hole for not giving her enough heads up and not being there for her? Not the a-hole, your mother is a monster. No offense. And please cut her off, and your parents. And anyone that supports her. Not the a-hole, OP's mother is a monster, full offense. I don't know the ages, but it sounds like OP was being treated as little than free labor, and now that they won't do work for them anymore, now they want cash. Absolutely should go no contact. Also, ignore that Venmo request. I don't use it, so I'm not sure if you can delete it. But you have no legal obligation to pay for anything. Not the a-hole, she can't ask for retroactive rent. Especially if there was no documentation saying what rent would be. She is trying to guilt you, so don't send her any money. If I were OP, I'd send an invoice for every project and hour of labor spent on their house, and then subtract their retroactive rent payment from that. Not the a-hole, your mom is an abusive POS, don't give her a dime, and I'd recommend going low contact with her for your own good. Trust me, escaping my abusive parents was the best thing I ever did, it makes all the difference. Not the a-hole. She doesn't need the rent and it's illegal asking retroactively for it. It's time to cut her off for a long time. You can talk again with her, but don't talk to her now, and I'm sure you know to not tell her your address. She was using you as physical labor your whole life, and now she is trying to get you back through financial abuse. She needs the rent, the family can't survive without you, etc. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for not making my stepson a beneficiary to my life insurance? I just had a baby girl, so I'm taking out life insurance just in case anything ever happens to me. My family will be taken care of. I plan to make my partner my beneficiary, but I am naming only my biological daughter as my contingent. The thing is, I have a stepson. I have been in his life since he was born pretty much, and I absolutely adore him. Before my daughter was born, I was thinking of splitting the life insurance 50-50 between the two. But some things that have happened has made me change my mind. 1. My in-laws and I do not get along. I'm no contact with them, but my partner isn't, which is totally fine. But because my in-laws don't like me, they have not even bothered asking about my daughter, see post history, and therefore have no relationship with her. 2. My stepson is watched by my mother-in-law while parents are at work, so he is very much loved by my in-laws. 3. My stepson's mom is very involved in his life, 50-50 custody, and all her family lives within several hours from us. 4. My family is spread out all over the world and my siblings and dad live across the country, so the only people my daughter has is mom, dad, brother and my friends. My partner was a little put off that I'm not going to name my stepson as contingent at all. I think I'm an a-hole, because I did say I don't plan to ever treat the kids differently, and I don't. I love them both so much. But my reasoning is that my daughter doesn't have as many people to care for her if something were to ever happen to me, while my stepson has his mom, maternal and paternal family. So, I want to make sure she is going to be taken care of with college, etc. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. I just wanted to add I would change it to 50-50 after they reach adulthood. And if I pass before my partner, I would want him to use it for both kids. But while they're minors, if both my partner and I were to pass, the life insurance would solely go to her because she doesn't have the same kind of support that my stepson does. He would still have his mom and both sides of family, while my daughter wouldn't have any parents and only maternal family. Also, my partner is also getting life insurance that is divided equally between both kids. Now for the comments. Not the a-hole for the exact reason you mention. You love your stepson, but if God forbid something happened to you, there wouldn't be an obvious financial burden relating to his care. Love aside, the people on the birth certificate are the ones who signed up to provide for the child monetarily. You have an obvious financial obligation to your daughter that your stepson's mother and father have for him. If it was your husband's policy, both kids should be named, but for you, just your daughter is your responsibility. By the way, a life insurance policy is not a binding contract to give all your assets to someone. If this is causing conflict, would you consider writing a will that splits financial and material assets, everything except the payout of life insurance policy, between the two children if something were to happen to you and your husband? If your husband is the beneficiary, he can give the money to anyone he wants. You should put her as the beneficiary, that way if something happens to you it goes to her. As your husband, he would oversee it until she is of age. Stepson isn't your kid. No obligations. I wouldn't say I have no obligations to my stepson. I've been helping raise him and I love him. I have a college fund started for him and pay for his things too. I just know in the event of our passing, he has a bigger support network than my daughter does, so I want to make sure she will be well taken care of. Can't your husband buy a separate policy? Yes, he's going to also take out life insurance that's split equally between both kids. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day everyone.